Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Rocha, Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder apostle, Aharawan Banyasharala of the Lions Den Camp, here in Florida. Shalom to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Banyasharala, coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharala, here in Florida. Now today I'll be coming out with a lesson, and it is on this article that popped up on my feed a few minutes ago, but the article is a day old. But as you said here, it says Iran issues chilling, unaliving threat to President Babylon on live TV. This time the projectile won't miss. Let's get into it. It says Iranian state television shared a chilling threat. As you can see, I'm gonna just keep on going to help President Babylon finish with all his living. And it says the broadcast said, this time again, I will edit, the projectile won't miss, referring to a previous failed we'll say attempt against the U.S. leader. The message, which included an image from one of the unsuccessful murder plots against President Babylon at his July 2024 presidential campaign in Pennsylvania. It says it's being interpreted as a direct threat, and it is to Babylon and President Babylon. It says it comes amid escalating tensions between the nations after President Babylon threatened strikes against the Iranian regime, including its nuclear facilities, while offering to aid anti-regime demonstrators amid rising violent protests, in which an estimated 2,000 anti-government Iranian protesters have been killed or helped finish with all their living. At least one 26-year-old anti-government protester arrested is slated to help be finished with all his or her living. It says the broadcast also comes over a year after the U.S. Justice Department announced that it slapped Tehran-based Afghan national Farhad Shakeri, then 51, with federal murder conspiracy charges after allegedly thwarting an Iranian plot to help President Babylon finish with all his living ahead of the election. It says at least 2 other citizens U.S. were arrested and charged in connection with the plot for allegedly assisting with surveillance efforts. This is, at the time, then Attorney General Merrick Garland and FBI Director Christopher Wray issued a statement warning of the dangers Iran posed to the country. I'll keep that comment to myself because it's only one that is a danger to the world. Let's continue. It says there are a few actors in the world that pose a grave threat to the national security of Babylon, as does Iran, Garland said. It says the Justice Department has charged an asset of the Iranian regime who was tasked by the regime to direct a network of criminal associates to further Iran's unaliving attempt or plot against its targets, including President Babylon. It says the U.S. alleges that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps tasked Shakeri with surveilling and helping President Babylon finish with all his living attempt. It says Iran has categorically dismissed the accusations, which its foreign ministry described as completely baseless and rejected, and a part of a malicious conspiracy, more than likely, yeah, to further complicate issues between Babylon and Iran, which is true, allegedly. It also noted that similar accusations have been made in the past, which Iran has firmly denied and proven false. Real quick. Where we at? Songs. (52) verse 2. Thy tongue devises mischiefs like a sharp razor working deceitfully. So this devil, his tongue, he devises all kind of mischiefs. He devises all kind of lies and deceits. And it's like a sharp razor. It harms, it hurts, but the things that he say, when people are not paying attention, they sound unassuming. But a razor is a dangerous weapon, or should I say a dangerous edge. You could get cut by a razor. If you're not paying attention, you don't know that you're cut until you bleeding all over the place. Well, that's how this devil's tongue works. That's how this devil's mouth works. That's how his words work. This is what he used. It says, thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness, Selah. So this devil would rather speak lying rather than to speak righteous. This devil loves evil rather than doing good. Verse 4, thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. So this devil's tongue loves devouring words, making up lies, things that assassinate a character, things that slander your character, words that defame your character, words that paint you in a negative light, that causes, we'll say, people and or entities to have a negative preconceived opinion and or idea about said entity, sectors, syndicates, rulerships, or whatever. That's how this devil moves. Let's go. Let's continue. It says the revelation of the spoiled scheme in November 2024 came just months after President Babylon escaped an unaliving attempt in 2024 at a presidential campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. It says President Babylon managed to escape with only a clipped ear and rose pumping his fist in the air. And those who are in the know, we know what this was, but let's continue. Rose pumping his fist in the air, and the image of which has become an iconic symbol of his MAGA movement. Yeah, MAGA, Make America Go Away, because that's what's happening. Let's continue. And there's no denying it, whatever, and no censoring that part. There's no denying it. We see things happening in real time before our eyes. So that's really what's finna happen. Let's continue. It says an image from, we'll say, the unaliving attempt was put on screen during the broadcast, which was shared on X, Twitter, or whatever. It says the U.S. government, the Babylonian government has long been worried that Iran will retaliate for the 2020 U.S. drone strike. Of course. How in the flying flip phone are you going to help an Iranian general that was very respected finish with all this living and think they not going to do that? That's like running up on somebody and jabbing them and then worried about if they going to come back and get you. Yes. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You hit somebody, you get hit back. You sow it, you reap it. Simple. Well, let's continue. But it says, have been worried that Iran will retaliate for the 2020 drone strike ordered by President Babylon that killed General or helped General Qasem Soleimani finish with all his living. A top Iranian government general. So yeah, that's gonna happen. That's just desserts. You mess with somebody, you get messed with back. You stealing from people, eventually you get caught. That's how that works. There's no you just gonna run up and just be whacking and flying and knocking the flying flip phone out of people all over the place and nobody not want to do nothing, or you don't get that back. No, man, that's not how that works. You put it out. If you put it in, you getting it out. It's like investing. If you invest in some BS, you gonna lose your money. Plain and simple. That's how that go. But anyways, I just gotta maybe a couple of more scriptures. Obadiah, verse 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. And we now know that Ishar is greatly despised, because the Lord has made this devil small and minute among the heathen. It's the least of the heathen, the lowest of the low, the basest of the bases. And this devil has been greatly despised, and we're seeing this despising in real time. Don't nobody deal with Ishar for real. Let's continue. I ended with verse 16. It says, for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. So all these other nations have had a hand in afflicting Yasharallah at some point. They have drunk upon the holy mountain, the Lord's people. So all the heathen, I shall included, are going to drink continually, meaning they're going to get their just desserts back, Salakia. And they're going to drink it continually, especially when it comes down to the Adawam nation. Especially them. These other nations, they're going to get broke like dishes for a time, but then they're going to get mended, meaning they're going to be able to go back. Their punishment going to be over, and they're going to be able to go back where they at. You know what I'm saying? Or wherever Yasha Allah, Yahweh Bashim Yahshua allow them to be in the earth. And they're going to be cooling and chilling and doing their thing like they've been doing. But it's going to get to a point to where it's going to be like they're going to be getting broke so bad, it's going to be like they never ever existed. And one in particular, one demographic of nation on the earth in particular, they're going to swallow down the whole wrath of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, and they're going to be as though they had not been, because they ain't going to be no more. At the end of a specific time, so that the earth can be in peace and righteousness can flourish and exist forever. It's almost, let me see, what word can I use? It's almost like a fantasy, but it's going to really happen. Thus saith Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. The earth in righteousness, ruled in righteousness, the earth yielding all its fruits, basketball-sized grapes and stuff, fresh air, clean water, no disease, but you know, but we talking about this right here. So my main point of this was really verse 2 of Obadiah. And again, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. That's why this title right here is on this auto. And with that, Shalom.